Hello and welcome back to MAK Holistic Yoga. So today we're going to be practicing from one of the most beautiful places on earth, I believe, which is my hometown in Florida. And we're going to be weaving this idea of home throughout our practice. And how do we find home no matter where we are or what we're doing? So I would like for you to close your eyes or turn your gaze downwards and begin to tune into the feelings that come to mind when I say home. What's coming up into your consciousness? Maybe it's a sense, smell of a perfume or a home cooked meal. Maybe it's a taste, certain foods, or a smell. But try to visualize in your mind's eye a person or a place feels like home, or a situation. And now let's move from that concrete place or person into the essence, the feeling that that person, place, or thing is evoking in our bodies. For me, I experience it as warmth, security, kind of an ease throughout my upper body when I think about home. And let's think of our bodies as our home now. And how can we bring that essence with us no matter what we do, no matter where we're going? How can we just continue to hold on to this essence? So we're going to begin our practice now, but we're going to come back to this idea of home a couple times. And I want you to become aware of that feeling in your body, because when we can recognize a feeling, we can replicate it. So if we can feel safe in our bodies just for this 30 minutes right now, we can learn how to feel safe in our bodies when we're not in a very secure place too. So we're training our minds, we're taking care of ourselves. Let's jump in. All right, so from your comfortable seat, go ahead and begin to move your chin slowly to the left. When you get to your full range of motion, begin to tilt your chin up as you draw it across towards the right, creating a square pattern, bringing it down. You may want to close your eyes as you explore this subtle movement of the neck and shoulders, and continue to think about your chin drawing a square in the air. When you get to the end of your next range of motion, switch directions towards the left. Just beginning to wake up this part of our bodies and investigating how much tension, how much ease is in this part. Now let's make this movement a little bit bigger by giving ourselves a big self-hug. And just as you did with your chin, begin to draw a square with your elbows now. So instead of just moving your shoulders and your arms, think about your whole torso beginning to lubricate and just finding space. You can exaggerate your square, kind of hunching over, and then almost in a cat-cow motion. Now switch directions. And also go ahead and switch opposite arms. So the non-dominant arm on top as you switch directions. Just moving, maybe linking up your movement with your breath or becoming aware of your breath once again. And think about inching out some more space in this body, in this home, your 24/7 home that we carry with us everywhere we go. Now, slowly and gently release. And as you find yourself in standing, come to the front of the mat. I'm going to come to face you, but come to the front of the mat into Tadasana, standing mountain pose. Your feet are about hips width distance apart, hands pointing forward, shoulders are rolled onto the back, spine is lengthened, and begin to sway a little bit as if you were a long, beautiful palm tree swaying in the breeze. You might want to keep your eyes closed as you start to feel into this movement, this purposeful fidgeting. Sometimes we just have this fidgety feeling that we just have to get out, and we should listen to that. Now, on your next inhale, bend the knees slightly and bring the arms over the head. Exhale, bow forward, forward fold. Take an extra breath here as we just awaken the back part of our bodies. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, plant the hands and step back into plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. First downward dog of the day, so let's spend a little luxurious time here, maybe pedaling out the heels, just investigating, not worrying too much about how it looks or where your heels are, but rather, how does it feel to just press back? On your next inhale, step, jump, or walk to the front of the mat and come up into Tadasana. Now, let's take another salutation. We'll just do a half salutation. So soften the knees, inhale the arms up, and exhale, bow forward. Once again, just opening up the back side of the body, imagining a current of energy that's starting at your heels. It's gathering and rising up the back side and cascading over your shoulders. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up into extended mountain pose, and exhale, allow those arms to float gently down. Plant the hands and step back into downward facing dog. Make sure your feet are hips width distance apart. Inhale the right leg up and sweep it through into a lunge. Setting the knee down, and perhaps if you have knee issues, finding a cushion or a pillow to put beneath your knee, and point your left foot towards the back of the mat. So it's kind of like you would draw a diagonal line from each corner of the mat with your knee to your toe. So you can look at me if you're at all confused. And we're going to come up into a warrior 2 position. A warrior 1, and then we're going to peel open into warrior 2. Take a second to just find that essence of home in this pose, this strength, resilience that comes from knowing who we are, what we're about. And flip the left palm or the right palm and paint the sky as you lean back into reverse warrior. You might be able to rest your left hand on the ground and get that opening in the front body. And inhale, using your core strength, bring your body up into warrior two, coming back into warrior one as we float the hands down. Plant the hands and kick back the right foot until you find yourself in a plank position once again. And now let's do the same thing on the other side. So, three-legged dog, raise the left leg and sweep it through until you're in a lunge position with your knee down. Turn your foot so that it's pointing at the left corner of the mat. So it's kind of a diagonal across the mat. And come up into warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Soften the gaze and tune inward as you peel open on an exhale, warrior two. Turn your gaze over your middle finger and draw a straight line finger to finger. Shoot some electricity out of your hands so that you can feel the strength of your upper body. Flip the left palm and lean back, maybe until you find a block or the ground, into reverse warrior. Feel your breath in your ribs. Sometimes we hold our breaths only in certain parts of our body, and this is a great opportunity to learn how to breathe into our ribs. So feel your ribs expand on an inhale, contract on the exhale. And using your core, come back up into warrior two. Exhale, settle, arrive, you're home. Inhale, arms up into modified warrior one. And exhale, hands down, plank. And let's take a second to rest in child's pose. Forehead to the mat. Again, finding your breath in the back of your body. So you take a second to let that effort settle in. And press up into tabletop position. Make sure your wrist crease are facing forward and your hands are below your shoulder. And on an inhale, draw your chin, just like we did in the beginning, up into cow. Exhale into cat, arching the spine. And inhale into cow. Exhale into cat, and then take that movement to the rhythm of your own breath. And planting down through all four corners of your hands, press back, downward facing dog. Step, hop, or jump to the front of the mat. And hang, let your body just hang for a moment into ragdoll, maybe grabbing opposite arms, swaying like that palm tree. And as you inhale, arms up into Utkatasana chair pose. So act as if you were sitting in a chair. You should feel your legs kind of light up here. And it's a lot of effort here, but there's also a lot of strength. Can we have that essence of home as we face these challenges in our lives? That essence of safety that we bring with us. And inhale, coming up into Tadasana. Shake it out. Let it all go. Now, finding that drishti, stay at the top of your mat, but finding that drishti, that focal point, we're going to come into tree pose. So if you already are familiar with tree pose, you can take the variety that you are comfortable with. And as you gaze at a fixed point, you can bring your right toe to the ground, and that might be your tree today, a nice, strong, steady, stable tree. You can bring your foot to your calf or all the way up towards your pelvis. But let's make sure that our foot is not resting on our knee. That's a tender area we want to protect. And allow a couple breaths, maybe taking a different arm variation, spreading your hands into the sky, letting your branches come long. If you're wiggling, no problem. Trees wiggle, especially palm trees wiggle. It's a good thing. Let the arms float down or come back to an Anjali Mudra, prayer hands. Lift your knee and let it float down. Let's do the same on the other side. You can take the same variation or a different one on your calf, toe on the ground, little kickstand, or all the way up towards your pelvis between your knee, avoiding that knee. Taking that arm variation that feels most available to you right now. Maybe you're feeling really balanced and you want to challenge yourself. Maybe you even want to close your eyes. That's a real challenge in tree. Bringing the hands back to prayer position and unraveling that pose. Maybe letting yourself kind of fidget a little bit, dance a little bit, sway a little bit. You're at home, why not? And plant your hands, step back your right foot only, and come back into that lunge position. So we're talking a little bit about purposeful fidgeting. Let's purposely fidget as we sway back and forth. So we're coming into a little kind of half split position with your left leg completely straight, or maybe close. It's okay if it's not completely straight. And then shifting your body so that you're finding some space in your hip, your right hip. Maybe you want to stay a little longer in one or the other, or maybe you have those fidgets that you want to get out. You just want to move a little bit with your breath as we open up our hips. No problem. Follow your body. Yogi's choice. Now let's plant the hands And press back into downward facing dog. Really press into the hands as if you were an upside down V. Lift the right foot, sweep it through, and let the left knee come to the mat as we begin to sway forward and back. You might even like to use some blocks or even not plant your hands at all. Really encourage you to, as you move, just close your eyes or tune me out and just really think about the muscles that you're opening. Think about and send some gratitude to your body. If these areas are tight, it probably means that we're working really hard at whatever we're doing, and good for you for giving yourself a break, coming back to that idea of who you are and what you bring to the world. And planting the hands, instead of stepping back, bring your hands into the center of the mat so that we're coming into lizard, modified lizard with the knee down. So when you're looking down at the mat, you're going to see hand, hand, foot. Maybe you're more flexible than me and you can go all the way knee, elbows to the mat. And if so, ease yourself, being gentle, coming into lizard position. Now, angling your back foot like we did on our modified warrior, come to a seated position. So just kind of rest yourself back. Bring your knees to your right side. And begin to twist. And you might bring your left arm over your head, or if you have enough space in your spine, you might actually want to twist all the way around so that your hands are on the opposite mat. So it's almost like you're doing a forward fold over your leg. This can feel really good on the lower thoracic spine. But if you have any pain or strain, come back and just extend your left arm over your head. That's also a really nice, really beautiful pose. Connect back to your breath, filling belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Slowly unravel your twist. Actually, let's stay on this side. Why not? And facing the opposite direction of the mat, we're going to press into plank. Lifting the left leg into three-legged dog, sweep it through, and we're going to do lizard. So now you're seeing foot, hand, hand. And we are coming down to our elbows if we can. We're just seeing what's going on this side of our bodies. We're listening to a train in the distance, at least I am. Tuning into the senses of the space that you're in, the smells, the sights. As you release just a bit more, finding that edge, a sensation. angling the back leg. Press back until you're seated. And now find your knees dropping to the left. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, twist. So your right hand is sweeping over your ear, finding that variation, or you're moving all the way over your leg into a forward fold over the leg. And as we move towards Shavasana, that final rest of the practice, let's begin to think about our intention to bring home wherever we go and be hospitable, allow others to experience home. Pressing the body up slowly. And come into staff pose. So spine is straight as you can. Toes towards the sky. Let's take 3 rounds of breath in this position. Feeling the space between the ears and the shoulders melt and extend. Closing the eyes. Feeling that breath animate the body. Extend the arms out as we slowly, one vertebrae at a time, come into Shavasana. So allow the toes to spill open. Invite relaxation into the ankles. Can you arrive and settle your calves, your knees, your thighs? Settle, relax your shoulders, and find that relaxation spreading all the way down to your hands, your fingertips. Sense and feel into the palms of your hands. That relaxation spreading all the way up into your throat. Release the throat. Press your tongue to the top of the back of your teeth, allowing the back of your tongue to swell, to rest. The teeth slightly parted, jaw relaxed. Smooth the forehead. Relax the space between your brows. Maybe tuning into those senses. What do you see in your eyelids right now? What are you hearing in the distance or in your apartment or your home? What do you taste? What do you smell? Allowing all of those sensory experiences to just be without analyzing them. trying to fix, judge, or change. Taking that non-judgmental stance inwardly now. Remembering that the essence of home is unconditional acceptance, and that's something we can bring to ourselves and others. Beginning to wiggle your hands and your feet, bringing the palms of your feet to the mat, the bottom of your feet. Roll to one side and press up. Allow your head to be the very last thing coming up as you find a seated position. We close our practice today. Thank you so much for this beautiful practice, and namaste.